The name of this book is called Rachel Parker, Kindergarten Show-Off by Ann Martin and illustrated by Nancy Poydar. I was lucky I found this book at a used bookstore. It was only $3. Sometimes you can find really good books for cheap. Rachel Parker, Kindergarten Show-Off. This says Rachel. This says Olivia. Rachel Parker, Kindergarten Show-Off by Ann Martin. I am Olivia. I am 5 years old. I go to kindergarten. I am very good at kindergarten. Everyone said so. My teacher has long hair, also a long name. Her name is Mrs. B. Jorgenhusen. She lets us call her Mrs. B. I love my teacher. This is me. This is my family. Me, Mommy, Daddy. I do not have brothers or sisters, but I have a cat. Her name is Rosie. Rosie is my very best friend, except for Mrs. B, and except for Mommy, and except for Daddy. Hop, hop, hop. I am hopping around my room. I leap onto my bed. I jump on the bed for a while. Olivia, calls Mommy, are you jumping on your bed? Not anymore, I yell back. I look out the window. I see something interesting. A moving van is parked in front of the house next door. That house has been empty forever. I run out of my room. I clatter down the stairs. Who's that? Says Mommy. It's me, Olivia, I reply. Guess what? There's a moving van next door. Good, says Mommy. New neighbors. Maybe a girl just your age will move in. Maybe, I answer. I am in school. I have big news. Mrs. B, oh, Mrs. B, I have something to share with the class, I say. Mrs. B smiles. Can you save it for sharing time, Olivia? I hope so. In sharing time, we sit on the floor in a circle. Who has something to share, asks Miss B. Olivia, says Mrs. B. I stand up. We are getting new neighbors, I announce. I sit down. When? Asks Molly. I stand up again. Tomorrow, I tell her. I sit down. Any kids? Asks Lou. I stand up again. I don't know, I tell him. Before I sit down again, I say, any more questions? There are no more questions, so I sit down. I love sharing time. Jump, jump, jump. I am jumping on my bed. Also, I'm looking out my window. I see a car pull into the driveway next door. I leap off my bed. I run out of my room. I clatter downstairs. Who's that? Says Mommy. It's me, Olivia, I reply. Guess what? The new people are moving in. I'm going to watch. I stand in our driveway. See the whole picture. I stand in our driveway. I lean on the fence. I look next door. A mommy and a daddy and a granddaddy are walking into the house. The mommy is carrying a baby. Behind the granddaddy is a girl. I think she might be about 5 years old. The girl sees me. She runs right to the fence. Hi, she says. I am Rachel Elizabeth Parker. You have 2 first names, I reply. I only have one. Yes, but you can call me Rachel, says Rachel Elizabeth Parker. I am 5. I am going to kindergarten. I have a new teacher. Her name is Mrs. B. Jorgenhusen. I think you are in my class, I say. Goody, says Rachel. What's your name? Olivia, do you like kindergarten? I love kindergarten. I can already read, and I can write stories no one in my class can write or read yet. I can read and write, says Rachel. Uh-oh. In school the next day, Mrs. B says, boys and girls, we have a new student. Her name is Rachel Parker. Rachel is standing in front of my kindergarten room. Mrs. B's arm is around her. I will try to be nice to Rachel. I raise my hand. I know Rachel, I say. She moved next door to me. She has 2 first names, Rachel Elizabeth. Rachel smiles at me. I smile back. Mrs. B shows Rachel to a desk. Rachel's desk is right next to mine. I wonder how Olivia's feeling. At story time, Rachel says, oh, Mrs. B, I know how to read. Wonderful, says Mrs. B. Would you like to read to your new class today? Rachel sits in Mrs. B's big chair. She reads Hop on Pop. She does not say any words wrong. Rachel Parker is a good reader. Also, she is a show-off. Oh, Mrs. B, I say. I could read Hop on Pop when I was 4. I can read much harder books now that I am 5. I can too, says Rachel. Hop on Pop is easy for me. I think about sticking my tongue out at Rachel. I decide not to. When school is over, Mrs. B says, Rachel, I am glad you are in our class. And Rachel says to me, Olivia, can you come over and play? Maybe, I answer. Here they are. Mommy says I should play with Rachel. She says, Rachel is new here. It would be nice if you went to her house. Ding dong, I ring Rachel's doorbell. Hi, says Rachel. Hi, I say, I am here to play. Rachel's house is a mess. There is stuff everywhere. Nothing is put away yet. Rachel likes the mess. It's good for hide and seek, she says. I meet Lily. Lily is Rachel's baby sister. I tickle Lily's toes. Hi, Lily, I say. Lily smiles at me. I meet Papa. Papa is Rachel's granddaddy. I hope you like candy, he says. He gives me a root barrel and a peppermint. I will show you my room, Rachel says. We run upstairs. This is it. I share it with Lily. I would not want a crib in my room, I say. I like the crib. The diaper pail smells. I like the diaper pail. That cannot be true. Looks like Olivia's not being the nicest version of herself, but let's see what happens. Let's play house, says Rachel. You be the daddy. No, let's put on a play. No, let's put on a puppet show. I have a puppet theater. Rachel Parker has a puppet theater and a baby sister and a grandfather who gives out candy and 2 first names. I have to go home now, I say. Goodbye. Mommy says I should invite Rachel Elizabeth Parker to my house. She says, Rachel invited you, now you should invite Rachel over. So I do. I watch for Rachel out my window. Here she comes. Rachel and I jump on my bed for a while. Olivia, calls Mommy, are you jumping on your bed? Not anymore, I yell back. Rachel and I leap onto the floor. Do you share your room with anyone? Rachel asks me. No, I answer proudly. It is all mine. Don't you have any brothers or sisters? I have a cat. I tell Rachel. Her name is Rosie. She knows what dinner means and also what outside means and what Birdie says. When I say Birdie, she runs to the window to look for one. Oh, says Rachel, Lily is very smart too. She knows some words. Plus, she can almost walk, and she is not even a year old. I frown. Rosie could walk when she was a month old. Now Rachel frowns. Have you ever moved, she asked. I have moved 2 times. I have not moved, not once. So I say, no, but I have an uncle who lives in Texas. He sent me a pair of real cowgirl boots and a cowgirl hat. Well, I am writing a story about a cowgirl, says Rachel. I am writing a book, I say. I wrote a book last year, says Rachel, when I was 4. That cannot be true. Rachel Parker is an enormous show-off. I think I hear your mother calling, I tell Rachel. Me too, she answers. I have to go home now. Goodbye. What's happening here? How are these girls feeling? I wonder. Let's look at the picture. Looks like some kids swinging, some kids playing sing-songs, eating a snack, all kinds of things. Everybody likes Rachel. My mommy and daddy like her. What a nice friend she is, they say. Mrs. B likes her. Molly and Lou and the other kids like Rachel. On the playground, I swing by myself, back and forth. I do not feel like playing with anybody. I look around. I watch the other kids. Uh-oh, here comes Rachel. Can I swing with you, she asks. I don't care. Rachel climbs into the swing next to mine. She pumps her legs. She can swing very high. So can I. I pump my legs too. I am higher than you, I call to Rachel. Rachel pumps harder. Now I am higher than you, she cries. Show off, I shout. Show off, Rachel shouts back. I drag my feet to stop my swing. Rachel stops too. Show off, I say again. Just leave me alone, Rachel Parker. You know what? Rachel yells. You are very mean, Olivia. So what? So I do not want to be your friend. Good, I say. I do not want to be your friend either. I run away from Rachel. I feel like I might cry. I look out my window. I watch Rachel. She is playing with Lily. Peekaboo, cries Rachel. Lily laughs. I sit on my bed. I cross my arms. I am still mad at Rachel. Also, I am bored. I run out of my room. I clatter downstairs. Who's that? Says Mommy. It's just me, Olivia, I reply. Mommy, can we get a baby, please? I want a brother or sister, either one. Rachel has a sister. She always has a friend to play with. I bet she is never lonely. Are you lonely, Mommy asks. Who, me, I say. No. Well, maybe a little. Why don't you play with Rachel? No. I do not tell Mommy about our fight. Instead, I go back to my room. I look for a book. I look for Little Bear. I read it 2 times. Then I look for my paper. I make up a story about 2 girls who have a fight. I draw a picture of that fight. I yawn. I am tired of reading and drawing by myself. I look out my window again. I watch Rachel give Lily a ride in the stroller. At school, we have sharing time. Rachel and I sit far apart. We can see each other. I cross my eyes at Rachel. She sticks out her tongue at me. Who has something to share? Asks Miss B. So here's her making a face. And here's Rachel making a face. Rachel raises her hand. We are going to get a cat, she says. I raise my hand. We already have a cat, I say. That's enough, girls, says Mrs. B. I shrugged my shoulders. After sharing, Mrs. B says, class, today you will have 2 new teachers. Their names are Olivia and Rachel. They will read to you. Mrs. B sits on the floor. She waits for Rachel and me to choose a book. Then we fight over Miss B's chair. Guess what? We can fit in it together. Rachel begins to read to our class. She reads the first page of the book. I read the second page. Uh-oh, here is a word I do not know. Mrs. B, I say. Mrs. B, my teacher repeats. Who is that? I do not know any Mrs. B. My name is Alice, and I cannot read yet. Oh, I skip over the word. Now the story does not make sense. Rachel whispers something to me. It's jacket, she says. The word is jacket. Thank you, I reply. On the next page, Rachel gets stuck on a word. So I whisper it to her. Thank you, she replies. We read the story to the end. When we finish, I smile at Rachel. Maybe she is not such a show-off. Then I say, can you come over after school? At my house, Rachel and I make a train out of chairs. We pretend to take a trip to Italy. Then we tie a bonnet on Rosie. We pretend she is our baby. After that, we pretend we are teachers again. I read Little Bear to Rachel. She reads The Snowy Day to me. Rachel, calls Mommy. Your grandfather wants you to come home now. Okay, Rachel answers. Olivia, tomorrow you can come to my house. And the next day you can come over here again, I say. Goodbye, Olivia. I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye, Rachel Elizabeth Parker. I'm glad you are my friend. What do you think the girls learned in this story? What was the problem? How did they come to solve the problem and become friends? I like this book called Rachel Parker Kindergarten Show Off. I hope you did too.